Hello, everybody. This is the first of what might be a few or might not be. Um, I've decided to do a sort of music chat podcasty thing. Once I find out and work out exactly what I'm doing, then I'm going to make it a little bit more high tech, a little bit more interesting, whatever. I'm going to do one every week, I think, to start with. And to begin with, I'm going to do a couple of Struts ones. I am hoping that I can get some bands to interview. There are one or two in the pipeline already. Not quite sure how that'll work. That'll probably be just an audio thing that I do. And as I say, to start with, we're going to talk about the Struts because that's why this whole thing began. And then it will expand into other bands as well. I would really, really like to be able to interview fellow Strutters as well. And it doesn't have to be about the Struts, it can be about whoever you want it to be about. Anything to do with music. So your big Queen fans, your big Kiss fans, your big whoever they are. I'll draw the line at Taylor Swift. But anything about sort of what got you into music or anything like that would be quite interesting. So at least I think it would anyway. So I thought I'd start by just talking about how I got into the Struts. So it was 2014. My wife and I had been going to the Isle of Wight Festival for a good few years, and we always used to look at the lineup and Google a couple of bands that we'd never heard of beforehand. And 2014 was about the fifth or sixth time that we'd been, and I can't honestly remember who else was on there. I think it was Kings of Leon, Calvin Harris, and somebody else. But there were loads of other bands as well. And I remember looking and seeing on the lineup, seeing the Struts and thinking, I wonder what they're like. So I Googled and I found the original Could Have Been Me video with Luke the Gardener. And I played that and thought, oh, that's good. I like that. And as luck would have it, they were touring at the time. And it was early 2000, must have been about May 2014. I went to see them in a little pub called the Hare and Hounds in King's Heath. And when my wife and I got there was about 20 people in the room, and there was a band playing. I knew it wasn't the Struts because I knew what they looked like. They were all right. They were okay. There weren't many people there, as I said, and we were standing a little bit away from the stage and saw who I now know to be Luke walk in with a bit of makeup on and go into the kitchen to get changed. And then they came up and played, and I remember being quite impressed to start with. It wasn't blown away, but it was, wow, these guys are good. Luke's voice was fantastic. They started with Match for Time, and I've Googled the set list since, and they played quite a lot of stuff from their first album, like My Machine and You and I and things like that. And they did the Down on the Floor thing with Where Did She Go? And I remember at the end, they went off stage and Luke went off backwards off the stage. He went off the back of the stage like you normally would, forgetting that he'd actually come on frontways. So he'd walked on front, but he went off the back and there was nothing out the back. There was a curtain and a wall. So he went behind the curtain, and there was just a wall there. So he had to come back out again. And I remember him handing out flyers that gave you an opportunity to get the first album signed, get a signed copy sent through the post. And I remember just briefly talking to him and saying, "You're doing the Isle of Wight Festival, aren't you?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm doing it twice." So that was where I found them. And then I think the Isle of Wight Festival was the next thing I went to, which was two gigs. They did a couple. They did one outdoors, one indoors in a tent. And there, as far as I know, there's only one recording, which is on YouTube. I'm going to post a link to it when I put this video up. I'm going to put this, by the way, I should have said this to start with. I'm going to put a link on the Strutters social to start with these. So if anyone wants to sort of link to YouTube and watch, they can. And I want to put a link to a couple of YouTube clips, one of them being Could Have Been Me. in his lovely blue shimmery outfit. And then what happened after that? They were great, the Isle of Wight, they're brilliant. They went down really, really well. There was lots of people watching them. And then they went away for a bit. And I remember I went to a little festival called Strawberry Fields where they played for about half an hour. And then I remember going to a place called the River Rooms in Stourbridge. And I remember looking on, I just Googled by accident, just chance. I just Googled Struts Tour. It was a Wednesday night, I think, something like that. And the Thursday, the day afterwards, they were playing 5 miles from my house. I never realised or anything. So me and my wife went to this little place called the River Rooms, and we paid £4 on the door, I think. And I just went and stood by the stage. The stage was waist high, and they played a full set. There was a couple of other bands, so they played a full set. They did the down on the floor thing and everything. It was really, really good. And I got what is one of my prized possessions from that night, which is a set list, a handwritten set list, which I can just about show you there, although that's the wrong way round. I'll show it you in a minute.